The terms Hispanic and Latino are often used interchangeably, but they are actually two different concepts. The term Hispanic is used to describe individuals who descend from a Spanish-speaking country or territory. Latino, Latina, and Latinx refer to individuals who descend from regions of Latin America, including but not limited to Brazil, Peru, Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela. Latinx is a gender-neutral term, whereas Latino refers to men and Latina refers to women. However, many people use the term Latino to describe the entire community. According to the Pew Research Center, 53% of Hispanics prefer to describe themselves as Hispanic, while 26% prefer Latino and a mere 2% prefer Latinx. However, 18% said that they had no preference. In the U.S., there are approximately 64 million Hispanic individuals. Mexico, however, is the country that has the largest population of Hispanics. In the U.S., Latinos and Hispanics are considered at-risk populations. There are many factors that make them at risk. A large factor that makes them at risk is that many Hispanics have English as a second language. English is the most spoken language in the U.S., so oftentimes there is a language barrier between native-born Americans and Hispanics living in the U.S. This can cause issues with most aspects of life, including education, employment, housing, and socialization. The rate of Hispanics and Latinos living in the U.S. is increasing rapidly, and there are some changes being made in these situations to decrease risk, but not many. For example, over the years, many schools have implemented programs for Hispanic students learning English as a second language. They call this program ESL. They provide accommodations to ensure that students are getting equal education. Also, there are procedures in place to prevent employers from not hiring people based on race. However, many employers find ways around this and do not hire Latinos or Hispanics at equal rates as they hire whites. Due to employment discrimination, many Latinos and Hispanics lack access to sufficient funds and income and are at a very high risk for poverty. Another factor that puts these populations at risk in the U.S. is that they are a non-white race, or a minority. This puts individuals at risk for discrimination and hate amongst peers and other citizens. White is the predominant race in the U.S. Therefore, there are many individuals who believe that white is the superior race and look down on those of other races, including Hispanics and Latinos. These individuals are often have prejudice against immigrants, including ideas that they are stealing jobs, they are evading the government, and they are dangerous criminals. While some people solely express these thoughts verbally or on social media, or not at all, some people are a little more expressive and even go as far as to commit hate crimes. Many Hispanics and Latinos are victims of aggravated assault and vandalism. In 2019, there were 527 reported anti-Hispanic hate crimes, including robberies, vandalism, aggravated assault, sexual assault, and more. However, this does not include all crimes because some went unreported. While some crimes are not as severe, many can be deadly. For example, on August 19, 2019, a 21-year-old opened fire in El Paso, Texas at a Walmart store, targeting Hispanic and Latino individuals, killing 22 people, most of whom were Hispanic. This was the biggest terrorist attack on Hispanics in U.S. history. However, not all members of American society view immigrants negatively. Many people view Hispanics and Latinos as equals and understand that they, their families, and ancestors have come to the U.S. for a better life. It is common for Hispanics and Latinos to come to the U.S. to evade severe danger in their home countries. For example, many people have transitioned from Venezuela to the U.S. recently because the living conditions there are becoming very unsafe and violent due to the developing government corruption. Sometimes, there is no time for Hispanic and Latino people to go through the hoops of legally achieving asylum, citizenship, or permission to enter the U.S. Unfortunately, they have to end up coming illegally to escape the violence and horrid quality of life that they have in their home countries. There are many things that can help decrease the risk factor for Hispanics and Latinos living in the U.S. The biggest support needs include equal housing, education, and employment opportunities. Many Hispanic and Latino individuals want to work and have extremely high grit and work ethic, despite many preconceived ideas and notions and judgments by others. Also, it is common to see these groups of individuals working multiple jobs to try to make ends meet and support their families. In Kentucky, there are few resources available to help Hispanic and Latino individuals. There are multiple food banks in the area that are able to help provide food for those who cannot afford it. The biggest and greatest resource in northern Kentucky for Hispanic and Latino community individuals is the Esperanza Latino Center, which is located in Covington, Kentucky. The organization's mission is to provide help and resources and support to Hispanic families in the area. The Esperanza Center has a bilingual service that helps the local Hispanic community with multiple things, including translation services of job applications, federal program enrollment forms, including SNAP, which provides assistance with groceries and food, and Medicaid, which provides assistance with health insurance. Also, they provide basic resources such as food, clothing, and diapers if needed. Hispanic adults are also able to take classes to learn English at the Esperanza Center. You must sign up for these, but it is free. This center offers computer classes as well for adults, which can help with many jobs. There is also a medical clinic that helps Hispanic individuals who do not have health insurance. They often treat heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, strokes, and more, as those are the most common health issues amongst Hispanics in the U.S. Centers and programs like these are incredibly beneficial to the Hispanic and Latino communities. In the U.S., unfortunately, though, there are few centers like this. Oftentimes, even though there are many American natives that are not fond of Hispanic and Latin individuals and culture, they continue to be kind and respectful to those who push hate upon them instead of retaliating. Hispanics immigrating to the U.S. have often seen and experienced unimaginable situations, but continue to persevere and make the most of their lives. Over the past centuries, there have been many profound historical events that have impacted Hispanic and Latino communities. One important event was the 1846 Mexican-American War, when America invaded Mexico in mission for gaining Mexican territories. This was after the U.S. annexed Texas from Mexico. The Mexican Revolution occurred from 1910 to 1920. It began as an effort to overthrow the dictatorship that was current in the country. Fortunately, it ended with the creation of the Mexican Constitution. However, it was not until after millions of people had died. The Cuban Revolution took place between 1953 and 1959 and was a political and military effort to overthrow the corrupt government as well. The revolution ended after a successful overthrow on January 1st, 1959, when Batista and his ways of government were thrown out. Another important event that took place for Hispanic people was in 1986. However, this one was in the U.S. President Ronald Reagan signed a law regarding immigration that gave legal status to about 3 million people. Also, in 2020, when Donald Trump became president, there was an important event that took place, but it was not beneficial. Trump threatened the status and rights of many immigrants living in the U.S. throughout his term, especially those having come from Mexico. He threatened to build a wall on the southern border so that many immigrants could not come into the U.S.